So what is an abstract class? Well, currently what we have seen all was full classes. A full class means it might have attributes, functions, but you can create its instance. It's the main feature of it, that you can create its instance. But as an abstract class, the main difference is that actually you cannot create its instance. But then, okay, why do we need it? Like, I'm creating an object that I cannot create its instance. Well, because there's a problem to create full classes always. Now, I'll explain it with my code, actually. So if you remember in our e-commerce platform, we had this item class in which toy, food, and water were just subclasses. But item was also a full class. It means that I can create, now I will just give me some more space, so I will actually close this, and then I will create some blank space for me. Yeah. Basically, I can say this. Item I is equal to new item. Okay, my question is, what is an item in real life?
Many things.
Yes, it can be many things. And people don't buy items. They buy books, watches, laptops with their full brand name and so on and so. But item is too generic. It's a very abstract term, actually. It doesn't exist in real life. Like, I don't buy item. It's a general name. Maybe I might buy a desk or table or so, but item is a very abstract definition. So when you see an animal, you don't just say, okay, I bought an animal, or I like this animal. You say, okay, this is a cat, so this is a dog. So they all have to be specific. So, but currently our design allows people to buy items, which means we don't know. In real life, there is no corresponding to that. Because when I say that, okay, it's an item, well, now you need to check it out, and you should be able to buy item, you should be able to ship it. But what is item? We don't know it. Is it a book? Is it a toy? Is it food, water, dress? We don't know it. So here is the problem. Our program allows that. This is one big problem. And the other one is, when we were implementing that, what I said is, okay, I said that, okay, all items that we sell should have this function, which is calculate final price, which sounds very, normally we said that it shouldn't be static. And then I know that each of them should have, but I'm forcing that, okay, they should also override this. But I am not forcing that. So what I mean is, like, if a class, let's say in a toy class, if I don't implement this one, that's completely fine. The program will compile and run because it will just use whatever I have implemented here. Like I said that it should return 0. Now the question is, again, this is also problematic because, okay, I need to put this function, calculate final price. I know that each item should have this. That's why I put it in this item class. All right, that's perfect. But then the thing is, now I am forced to implement it. So I said that, okay, it should return 0. But, okay, is that really the case? No, I put it as like a dummy statement. I just said, okay, it will return 0. I'm hoping that the others will override it and change their number to 0. 0 is not a correct number because the thing is, I cannot know the price if I don't know if it is a book, if it is a toy, if it is water, food, whatever it is. But the thing is, now I am forced to implement it because it's a full class. I cannot, like, if I said, okay, I don't know how to implement it. This is a big problem. I don't know how to implement it at this level. Like in an item, if I don't know its weight, type, I cannot implement it. But if I leave it empty, I will get a compiler. It will say that you have to return some number. Okay, then I'll say, okay, I'll just return some dummy number, 10, 0, -1, whatever it is. This is just to stop compiler complaining about my code. But the thing is, again, I don't know how to implement it. I know that this is incorrect, and it needs to be overridden. This is my strategy right now. But the thing is, what if they forgot to override it? What if they just forget it and compiler is not making it a problem? Because if it is not implemented as we did in this toy class, it will just immediately use my incorrect implementation. So, well, if you have only 3 classes, you might say, okay, I will just check these 3 classes and then be sure that, okay, it is overridden. But what if you have 10,000 classes and you are always adding more classes, removing them, and so on and so? Then, like, you cannot always check that. For those cases,
we can't make it void.
That's a good question. Okay, if I make it void, but the thing is, what if if I need a value returning function? Like, I can make it void and leave it empty. Okay, so that will be, then yes, it will not compile. But the problem here is that then if I need a value returning function, okay, it will give me an error here. Like, this is a void, but I need a value returning function. This is one problem. Also, let's say that, okay, I need a void function really, but still the thing is, this implementation is incorrect. Like, it does nothing. Then what will happen is, for a toy class that I have here, I didn't override it. So if it is called, it will call this void function, which is still incorrect. It does nothing, but I will assume that it really did the operation that it has to do, but it is not. So the thing is, implementation is incorrect, whether it is empty or whether it is returning some invalid numbers, some wrong numbers. So what I want to do is then abstract classes comes in for this problem. So what I'll say is, okay, I'll do some small touches for my program. I will say, okay, there is no item, suggesting item in real life. It's a very abstract term actually. It's just a term that we use to group the other things that we sell. So what I say is then I will put this keyword, abstract class item. Then what will happen is when I set this, when I go to this e-commerce platform now, it is not allowing me. As you can see that I'm getting an error. Basically, it's saying that you cannot create an instance of an abstract class. So now I eliminated this error. Even though one of the software developers, maybe he didn't know he was trying to mess up with our algorithm, he could put some item objects in our sales list. Now they will not be able to do it because there will be no instance of this item class. So this is the first part. So good, now I'm not allowed to do this. I can only create toys, foods, water. I'm assuming that they are the very specific ones. And then for the item class, let's say that, okay, I don't know how to implement this function that returns a float or a void. Okay, I literally don't know it. So then what I will say is, okay, you know what, this is also an abstract one. So as a software developer, I am refusing to implement it because I don't know how to implement it at this class. So what I'll do is, I will also delete this part. I will put a semicolon. So what I did is now, I don't know how to implement it. It's a very abstract method at this point. The only thing that I know is its name and also its parameter. So basically I am saying that, okay, every item should have this method. I know it, but I don't know how to implement it at this point. So that's why I'll just put this, calculate final price, that doesn't take any parameter, it returns float, and it's abstract. I didn't implement it. For the things that I know, well, I can maybe implement it. Let's say I have a message function. I'm just making it up now. Let's say for each of them it says, okay, this is a nice item, okay, whatever it is. This is, if I know how to implement a function, I can implement it. I didn't put this abstract keyword there. I can still implement the functions that I know how to implement. But if I don't know something how to implement it, I'll just say that this is abstract. Then what will happen is, now the thing is, in the toy class also, now we will get an error. Like, we're getting error. Why? Now, Java is forcing me, saying that, okay, you have to implement this function. You see that I'm getting an error here. And if you check this error message, it says, the type toy must implement the inherited abstract methods. So now I am forced to implement this. Which one is it? It is this function. I will copy paste it and then change it there. I need to implement it. Now it's not abstract. So, and assuming that now I know how to implement how to calculate the price of a toy, then I'll say, okay, now I know it. In our store, all toys are 10 riyals or so. But now what happened is I cannot forget it because it will not compile. I'm forced to implement it when I have to do it. So this is because the reason is that now it's a full class. It's not an abstract class, so that Java is now forcing me to implement that. This is the main idea of abstract classes. Do you have any questions so far?
We still have a constructor in the item class.
That's a perfect question. I will come to it in the following slides. Yes, that is a very nice question. In an abstract class, yes, we can have constructors. I will explain it why we have. But before that, I would like to also show this. Let's say that, okay, maybe we have you can say, okay, toy. With a toy, I don't know how to calculate the price, to be honest. There are many different toys. Like, there are some fluffy ones, there are some heavy ones. Maybe it's a software game, something, I don't know, whatever it is. So you might say, okay, because I have some different classes that also extend the toy class. Okay, so I will go here, and then let's say that, I don't know, can you give me a toy type that I can, a meaningful name for a subclass for a toy class?
Car toy, doll.
Car toy doll, yeah, okay. Let's say we have car toys and then dolls and so on. Yeah, which basically I will zoom in, extends toy, and maybe we have also doll and so on. And for that one, in my story, let's say that for a toy, I don't know how to implement this, okay? Then I shouldn't implement it, okay? But then if I don't, because I'm saying that this is also an abstract class, okay? This is also an abstract class, toy. I don't know how to implement it. So when I put this, as you see, when I don't put this, I'm getting an error message because it's a full class. Java is saying that if it is a full class, you can create its instance. Then, if you are able to create an instance, it means that you can run. Let me open this item function. Yeah, you should be able to run this function, but it is still not implemented. So you should implement it. But when I put this abstract keyword here, what I'm saying is that, okay, this is still an abstract method. An abstract class extending another abstract class. So which means that when I do this abstract class, I'm telling Java that I'm getting an error. No worries, I cannot create an instance of a toy object. I know that, so that I can still leave some methods unimplemented. They're not implemented. But the thing is, because I don't know how to implement it. So what happened is then, when I go to my car toy, Java makes noise here. It says, okay, this is a full class, and there is still a function not implemented. It is inherited from item, not from toy, from the toy, but it is still inherited and it is still not implemented. So you should definitely implement it. So then I'll say, that, okay, hello. I'm looking at you, yeah. I'm looking the one who keeps a phone in their hand. I know, not you. Yeah. You can look at your phones as long as you don't make any noise. And don't disturb your friends. Okay. All right. How many minutes we have? Okay. Do you have any questions so far? If you get this part of the abstract classes, I think you get 90% of what you have to know about abstract classes. So we cannot create their instances, and we can leave some functions unimplemented, but those functions should definitely be implemented in a full class definition. Okay?
Doctor, so if you have an abstract method,
Yes.
there should be it should be overridden in a full class.
Definitely. Yes. In a full class, it should be overridden. Like at some point, what I mean is, like I can, if you know how to implement this in a toy class, which is, which is an abstract class, but let's say that I know it. I know how to calculate the prices. All toys have the same price. Then you don't need to implement it here. I just need to, sorry, I didn't save it, that's why I was getting an error. If I know that how to implement it here, even though this is an abstract class, I implemented it. Now I'm not getting any error here because from Java perspective, all the functions that car toy has are implemented. So it's not making the noise in that sense. All right, any questions so far? Let me see if I miss anything here. Yeah, I didn't. Seems like no. There's some more now. As I said, if you understand this part, 90% of them is will be okay. There's some details that you might need to memorize or so. What are this is first one, static methods. You cannot declare them as abstract. So if you declare a method static, then you have to implement it. And also constructors, you cannot make a constructor abstract if you declare it as an if you need a constructor implementation, you have to fill it. And if a class has at least one abstract method, then it should be definitely an abstract class. Like if I go to my function here, I'm saying that, okay, this is not an abstract method car toy. But if I put one single abstract method there, okay, then Java forces me to make it also an abstract class. Okay, so I should definitely make it an abstract class for sure. This is, but in an abstract class, all your functions might be implemented. They are all implemented, but you can still make it an abstract class. That's also valid. But if there's at least one abstract method, then it should be definitely an abstract class. All right, I think I also missed that, covered that. And some rules, let me check if I missed anything. An abstract class must be declared with an abstract keyword. I said it. It can have an abstract and non-abstract methods. I think I said it, yes, I showed that. It cannot be instantiated. It can have final methods. Yeah, you can put final methods. It can, yeah, let's also now answer your question. It can have constructed and static methods. Now the question is, so basically you can put constant methods, final methods, static methods, and also constructors. The question is, okay, I cannot create its instance, but then why do I need a constructor then? For an item object, let's say, I want to create a toy object or car toy object, but then I'm defining a constructor for the item. Why is that? Do you have an idea why we might need a constructor definition for an abstract class?
Inheritance, maybe?
Inheritance,
If
can
a
you elaborate on
class-
it?
If a class extends this abstract class, you need some members from the abstract class. If it's
Yes.
inherited.
And it should inherit. Since if it's an abstract class, there should be some full class that extends it. There should be always an inheritance relationship. And if we go to our code, for instance, now here we have this item class, which is, we said that, okay, this should be abstract. And we also defined it an constructor. Why it might be the case? Well, when we are creating, I'll go to here. Now this is a, we can say it maybe car toy. I messed up with my code when I'm changing their types a lot. Anyway, yeah. When I create a food object, let's say, okay, or toy. Let's go with the car toy. Okay, when I create a car toy object, what it has is it has this default constructor. Public car toy. So, and then what does it have? It has this default super function in that. So what is the super function of it? It's the constructor of the toy, which is actually an abstract class. But in that one, maybe let's say I would like to initiate this color object to default one. Okay. And in that one also, there's a code that Java puts for me, which is the super one, which is actually the constructor of item. And maybe in this, so it calls this one, and maybe in that one I also need to initialize this ID to some number, to default one maybe, or anything we can based on our code. But eventually I have some attributes to initialize in those classes. That's why we might, I mean, we don't have to, but we can define constructors for the abstract classes, because those constructors are called when we create the instances of their food of those full classes. Like when I create a food object, I'm calling also the item constructor. When I create a water object instance, I'm also calling the constructor of an item. So I might need it. That's why we can define constructors for the abstract classes. Any questions so far?
If we have a method in an abstract class, how would we use it? We can't create an instance of that class.
That's a good question. So when we have this item class, we have this message function. We created that, we defined it here. And because of inheritance, well, I can use it here with any of these toy, food, water objects. Because of the inheritance, I can call, let me, just to show it here, I can call that f.message so that I can just call it.
Okay.
Because of the inheritance. All right, it's 2:49. I think I should stop here.